In the last episode, we stripped the not so trusty 12HT out of my 60 series. It is time to pull this thing apart and hopefully figure out what is wrong with this very expensive brick. What is exactly the plan for this video? I definitely want to get down to the cylinder head so I can check those pistons, because from everything I've researched and what everyone else has told me, that seems like the most common issue with these engines is the ring lands cracking, and obviously the only way to check that is to get in there. I do often say that I actually have no idea what I'm doing, but this is one thing that I have zero clue on how to do. Basically starting at the top and checking my way down the engine. So I'm gonna pull the head cover and make sure that there is no bent rods. I'm not gonna check clearances because I just don't think it is likely that the sound, how deep it is and how knocking it is gonna be from clearances. And then after that, we're gonna start unbolting all of the accessories, like turbo manifold, all of the stuff all around the engine. So then we can hopefully get removing the cylinder head and inspect those pistons, because that is what I'm putting my money on. Since I'm almost certain it is not a big end bearing issue, although those bearings do need to be changed. I'm also onto another first here, which is removing my first ever clutch and inspecting my first ever clutch. I've never even seen one out of a car before. So I'm gonna rip this off so I can get to the bell housing plate, and then we can connect it to my new engine crane I just grabbed. So one of them pretty much instantly span as soon as I put the impact driver on there. And I have a 12mm spanner and I'm using the closed end, and they are all not very good. I feel like this is going to turn into a massive headache. These things are all like smooth round. There you go, on that one where I've put the spanner on and it is not quite grabbed. I literally put the spanner on there and the thing just spins instantly. So whoever put the clutch on last time just did me dirty and stripped the head of the bolt, which is going to make an easy job literal hours. So I have a set of like easy out sockets or whatever they're called, which are 4 rounded bolts, because over the years the BT50 has been in some salt water, so the accessory bolts like to rust. So hopefully these will work. So I also have no idea what a clutch is supposed to look like. I'm assuming that it's blue because it got very, very hot at some stage, but I'm sure if the clutch is bad, those pads wouldn't be there and it'd be material on material, but I have no clue. So let me know down below if I need a new clutch or not, or if this one's close to being done, then I'll probably get a new one anyway, but if that's got some life in it, then I will just leave it. So I had to do a bit of TikTok scrolling and a bit of research to figure out how to get the last one of these bolts off, or crack it at least. I grabbed a peg and chucked it in like that, which obviously resisted as I was turning it left, and then allowed me to crack them all off. So now I can remove the flywheel. So I've just rated all of the bolts that I have. This is the longest M8 that I have. So I'm gonna need some 75mm long ones so I can go through the plate here and then mount it onto the engine stand. So another trip to Bunnings, second one in 1 hour. All right, now that all the hardware is connected, hopefully this will not be hard. All right, now this is where I put it down slowly and hope that I put the stand together properly. But before I can get into pulling this thing apart, well, learning to anyway, I have one small side task I have to complete. I mean, it's pretty important because this is going to be taking me a while to complete, so I'm going to need a good seat. So I'm hoping that I'll just be able to quickly take the backrest off this chair, and then I'll have a nice seat with some wheels on it that I can roll around and get whatever I need. Thing's perfect. And if you're wondering why I am now wearing gloves, it is because I constantly touch my camera and it is now full of oil, which is less than ideal for an expensive camera. So I've got to wear gloves so I can still operate the camera. It's also kind of taking up the whole garage, so I'm going to try to reposition it like this way, which will hopefully give me a bit more space. Have the cover off. I'm not going to measure clearances right now because it is all going to get taken out, but I'm just feeling for if there is any bent rods, which you're looking for like a big snap, or that one of them is physically looks very different, which feels fine. So I just got those exhaust manifold bolts off, and then I took a bunch of hoses off the front that are all connected to the cylinder head. And then next up, I have to come to the front here where the thermostat housing is and start unbolting all of that, which is when it kind of starts getting serious. And then because my engine stand is pretty terrible, which I'll show you in a little bit, I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with the engine crane to still support the engine, but I can't keep using these points. But I can't use the points that I'm already attached to because they connect to the cylinder head. So I have to figure out how I am going to be able to lift it off while the engine does not snap the engine stand. Got the belt tightener thingy off, and then now there is just a bunch of different bolts in here to take off. And then the thermostat housing, I think is what it's called, will come off, and then it gets the scary bit. There we go, that's off. And I think that is pretty much it for the easy stuff. Now we get on to injector lines. I think I have, once again, no clue, but I'm thinking I take these all off up here. So there is this bracket here, and that is the only two spots that they are connected to the top block. So I should then be able to, I actually don't know, I have to think this through. So I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone that has watched so far. As the time of recording this, I've uploaded the first 2 episodes, and number 1 got to like 15,000 views or something, and I only posted number 2 yesterday, so it's not quite there yet, but the support and everything has been insane. And I can't get over how many of you are subscribing and leaving comments and stuff, so keep that up, keep commenting. If you haven't subscribed already, there's obviously 10,000 of you that didn't subscribe, so hit that subscribe button because these videos are coming out every week. And if you're wondering why I was standing there waving around a green marker, it is because I'm going to mark my injector lines. The way you number them is not by the order you take them off, it's like reverse order. So this one here is the outermost injector line, so that's going to come off first, second, third, fourth, which means when I'm putting them on, this one is the closest to the engine, so that is going to be the first one to go on, then this will be the second one, and so on. And then obviously these ones are different as well, which I haven't traced yet. I also had an idea for a segment for these videos, which I'm going to do right now, and I'm going to respond to some comments that were left on the last video while doing a bit of a slow task, aka cracking all the injector lines. The first one we have is from my good friends Lil and Jake. Check out their videos if you like caravanning and stuff. I'm assuming this is Jake. He said barra swap. I had this comment a ton of times and I have really looked into it, but I did buy this car for the 12HT, so I'm thinking this one should stick with the 12HT, but maybe down the line, maybe another 60 in the future that will paint crazy color and maybe put it on an 80 series chassis. That could be the barra swap project or just an engine swap project in general, but I think this one's staying 12HT. And then we have Peter Eichen saying, dipstick, you are the dipstick. Pretty wild comment, but sure, we'll go with yes, I guess I am a dipstick. And then we have David here with a really good comment saying, was the oil leak coming from the turbo oil return line? You didn't seem to resolve that problem in the video. And then the rest goes on to say the low oil in the bottom end probably caused the bearing to go, which I do agree with that bit, but no, I don't think it was the turbo oil return, because I've kind of checked most of them now that the engine is out, and I really think it is the timing cover. It's the only real spot that I can see that has like a lot of build up, and it looks like it was really building that up over a long period of time. But thank you, David, for the good comment. Peter Eichen says, proper size tool, you are the tool. Wait, this is the same dude as before. I think Peter must have got kicked out of his bed or had to sleep in the doghouse or something, because he came out to fight. Thanks, Peter, love you. Let me know if I should do this with every episode. Just leave a comment saying yes, keep doing the comment reply, or nah, it was boring. So now just cracking the injector lines off fuel injection pump, and hopefully I'm doing this right and I can put it back together later. So injector lines are all off, and so are all the vac lines, so it's all nice and neat. Next, I just need to unbolt fuel filter, which I'm thinking, because this is a hard line, it should just hover out of the way once detached, and then I won't have to take it off fully and dump diesel everywhere. I don't know if you can see how much of an angle that engine stand is on. It is not looking healthy, and the crane is still taking it. I've dropped it all the way and it doesn't break. It's just that back plate not doing too well, but the rest of the stand is doing all right. So I'm going to try and keep it hooked up to the crane the entire time that I take the cylinder head off, which is obviously going to make it trickier, but I think it should be fine, because this bracket here has one bolt there that goes into the cylinder head. Then it still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other bolts. So I'm going with this will still be plenty strong enough to hold. Okay, next morning, and I have unbolted the point that I'm using to hold it up from the head. These 13 or 12 bolts up the top, and then I'll take the head cover off and do those, and then hopefully it shall come off quickly. And just put the Alright, those were insanely tight. Hopefully these ones, being well oiled, much better. Oh, now to take them all off and then I'm not sure if these are meant to be that rusty. That is definitely why they were so hard to get out. Now, time to try and pull this thing off. I'm supposed to be trying to take this bracket here off because it is still actually holding cylinder head on. I just had my biggest dumb moment of this whole process, and I'm gonna fill you in on it. I was trying to lift the head off, like really try and lift it as hard as I could. And then I realized that I have to take the rocker shaft off, rocker arm shaft, whatever the hell this part is called, because there is bolts the whole, under each one of them, going the whole way down. Which is gonna be a tomorrow job. I am back and it is now Monday and I now have a plan of attack for the rest. I have to first take the turbo off just to make the head easier to lift, and then I also have to take all the injectors out. Apparently it's just way easier to do it while they are all connected to the engine. And then there is another row of cylinder head bolts up in here. So this is going to be a long time for me, a little bit of time for you, probably 2 or 3 time lapses. So as you would have seen, the whole turbo manifold is off and now it is onto the injectors. Oh no. That was much easier than the first one. One step that I forgot to mention before is I have to take the push rod inspection plate off because they have the little adjustable bits on the bottom, and I need to make sure, well, I need to take them off to take them out. Alright, moment of truth. Cylinder head coming off. I think I've done everything that I need to do, but we'll find out in a few seconds. It should just come off, but be very heavy. Oh my god. I'm missing something over there. Holy f***. This might break the table.
Thank you.
What was that? So, straight up this one has crack on the piston. I'm going to wind it over and have a look. Alright, no more suspense. You can finally see why the engine was making the noise. More suspense because it's not. That is all parts of piston melted, and you can hopefully see the crack. There you go, you can see the crack there. Very smoky. Looks alright, looks alright. Metal shavings on top of that, but that could have been from this. Alright, so I'm just gonna spin this over and get it into the correct spot. Oh, that is way worse than I thought it was. Definitely gouged the whole way up and down, but it's not that bad until you feel the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 really hard edges, and it almost squares out on those edges, which I actually am unsure at this stage if that is repairable without like, I think sleeving the whole thing, because that does not feel good. And they're like deep, like they feel like millimeters deep. Well, there you go, we have it. We now know what is wrong with the 12HT. So I'm gonna once again ask you all for a massive favor. Make sure you leave a comment, drop a like, and if you haven't already, click subscribe, because the only way I can really continue with this build, since it is pretty much worst case scenario, is if these videos keep getting views, and I know that you all want to see the build keep going. And if anyone knows any good machine shops in Perth, please let me know. Comment it down below, because I'm gonna need someone real good to fix this thing. See you in the next one. Oh, I'm not getting this up. Oh no. Oh. Thank you.